Thanks for watching this edition of the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch digital exclusive. I'm Dave Froehlich. We're taking a look at some of the crime stories that have made headlines recently in our area. A social media influencer has been arrested after police say he made threats against Joe Rogan. The man now faces a terroristic threat charge, which is a misdemeanor. 47-year-old influencer Brian Johnson, who goes by the name Liver King, is known for his extreme diet, which includes eating raw meat, as well as his so-called primal lifestyle. APD says it became aware back on June 24th Johnson had made the threats against Rogan. The Instagram posts also revealed Johnson was traveling to Austin while continuing to make threatening statements, according to APD. Rogan told police he'd never had an interaction with Johnson and that he considered the posts threatening.
Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged you man to man to a fight. Honorable.
Johnson was found at the Four Seasons downtown and taken into custody. He recorded that arrest on social media. APD says this does remain an active investigation. Austin police are investigating two homicides that happened within about 5 hours of each other, marking the 31st and 32nd murders so far in the city this year. Fox 7 Austin reporter Meredith Aldis says police don't believe they're connected.
Two homicides in about 5 hours. They happened on opposite sides of town. The first was in North Austin at around 5:15 Tuesday evening.
This is a fairly large crime scene. There are multiple locations involved.
Earlier that day, police responded to East Wansley Drive. 72-year-old Ronald Mixon told police he had gotten into a verbal fight with his roommate, 61-year-old Robert Saldana. He said Saldana was yelling, making racial comments towards him, and threatened to kill him. Saldana then slapped Mixon in the face. Mixon called 911. When police got there, Saldana was gone. About 2 hours later, police were called back out to East Wansley Drive.
There was an unconscious person on the floor, and there was blood.
Mixon was found stabbed to death inside the apartment.
Officers received information from witnesses on scene that there was another subject involved.
Saldana was found at a nearby bus stop with a wound. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition.
This is being investigated as Austin's 31st homicide.
Then the second homicide of the day was in South Austin at around 10:15 at night.
This is being investigated as Austin's 32nd homicide.
Austin police say someone was hit by a car in the parking lot near Kirby Lane Cafe on South Lamar.
This isn't being investigated as a homicide, so there has to be some type of criminal element as far as intent, things of that nature involved.
Police say a suspect has not been arrested yet.
We're going to continue to respond and investigate these cases and bring justice to our victims.
Judges dismissed the Austin Police Department from a civil lawsuit connected to a deadly shooting involving an off-duty police officer. The incident was first described as road rage with off-duty officer Gabriel Gutierrez. He claimed the other driver, Alex Gonzalez Jr., cut him off and flashed a gun. Gutierrez shot at Gonzalez and his girlfriend with their baby in the back seat. Then two on-duty APD officers arrived and more shots were fired. In 2022, a grand jury declined to indict the officers and a former APD chief decided not to discipline them. The trial is currently underway after Gonzalez's family sued, saying the city's official policies and practices led to excessive force. A judge dismissed APD in that lawsuit, but the trial is still ongoing for Gonzalez's family and Gutierrez. Well, police are looking for a driver who seriously injured a pedestrian. According to APD, just after midnight on June 14th, a truck headed south on 183 of the frontage road near West Anderson hit a 68-year-old man who was crossing. That victim was hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. The driver left the scene. He's described as a Hispanic man, about 5'7", with a medium build, with a tattoo on his left hand or arm. The truck is believed to have been built between 2010 and 2020 and is silver or gray. If you have any information about what happened, you're asked to please call APD or Crime Stoppers. One man who was arrested during the recent protests in Austin is speaking out as court documents reveal what led to the arrests of more than a dozen people. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has that story.
These are the moments before a man was arrested during the protests in Austin about 2 weeks ago.
As I was stepping back, I was arrested by law enforcement.
Hiram Garcia is a live streamer.
I'm going to risk it for the biscuit, and I'm going to go into the fire, and I'm going to, get the footage right then and there.
He was there when about 800 people started near the state capitol and then moved through downtown Austin.
You are allowed constitutionally to respond to breaking news in a protest, in a march, in a rally, even if that is happening on sidewalks or even on streets, as long as you are not obstructing the functioning of society.
Austin Police Chief Lisa Davis says the dynamic changed when people started rushing toward the J.J. Pickle Federal Building. Court documents say people were throwing rocks, bricks, and gas at officers, knocked over barricades and construction signs, and threw scooters into the road to try to block it off.
Officers held the line at that point to prevent further property damage and to protect both the protesters and themselves, deploying pepper ball towards the ground to saturate the area so the protesters could not move back toward the federal building. DPS then deployed CS gas to disperse the crowd.
The more than a dozen people arrested are accused of using spray paint and big markers to write on the Omni Hotel, a parking garage, and the federal building. Damage is estimated at more than $3,000. One man was arrested for doing burnouts and driving against traffic near protesters. Others tried to run from officers. Some were found with gas masks, and one man had a rioting manual in his backpack.
I'm not like the other protesters, I'm not a protester. I was not arrested for protesting. I was not arrested for rioting. I'm really upset that I was grouped in with the rest of the protesters.
3 people are completely off the hook after no probable cause was found. Garcia is one of them. He's been in cuffs before, though.
I was arrested before under extremely similar circumstances, if not the same circumstances, at a protest in 2020.
Both times his charges were dropped.
These instances are definitely not provoked by me. I actually I just always try to comply, Meredith. That's the rule. You know what I mean? And in those instances, there's just miscommunications.
Sometimes people have this default assumption of, well, if you were arrested, it's because you did something wrong. But we've seen time and time again that people get arrested for doing exactly what is within their right to do.
Protests started back up on that Saturday at the Capitol grounds.
Were you back out at the protests on Saturday?
Absolutely. We were back out on Saturday. I think it would be unfortunate to allow myself to be intimidated by police, to be intimidated by protesters, to be intimidated by anti-protesters.
Chief Davis says it remained mostly peaceful. 3 people were arrested by APD, 9 were arrested by DPS that night. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch.
Former elementary school teacher has been indicted by a grand jury on charges related to child sexual material in Travis County. Fox 7 Austin's Katie Pratt says investigators found the former teacher in possession of numerous photos and videos of students that he had taken in his classroom.
26-year-old Zachary Barnett was indicted by a grand jury on 17 separate charges related to child sexual abuse. Barnett used several Kik Messenger accounts to watch and save explicit content of little girls, which investigators traced to his residence in Round Rock. After conducting a search warrant in February, a total of 13 devices were seized, including several external hard drives, a tablet, and laptop. Special agents interviewed Barnett at the Texas DPS office in downtown Austin. There, he admitted to watching, possessing, and downloading child sexual abuse materials. They also discovered that Barnett made his own content. These are some of the posters he had displayed in the classroom. According to the arrest papers, Barnett would have his students hold this position, then photographed and videoed them. More than 8,885 graphic images and videos of female students in the class were found in Barnett's possession. On Monday, he was indicted on 17 felony charges. 1 count of sexual performance by a child, 6 counts of possession of child pornography, 10 counts of possession of lewd visual material depicting a child. The charges span from March 2024 to February and were all filed in April of this year.
Following his arrest, the Eanes ISD superintendent said Barnett passed all required background checks and that they didn't find any records of criminal behavior when he was hired. Well, a mother is thankful after law enforcement arrested a man they believe killed her son. The shooting death of Katon Delore happened in Southeast Austin. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has the latest.
Just hours after this plea for tips,
our office has developed a person of interest, which we are now asking for the public's help to identify and locate.
28-year-old Vondell Crawford was found and arrested.
The lead detective was very helpful, worked really, really hard to make sure that it happened.
Police say Crawford shot and killed 29-year-old Katon Delore near the Apple Mart gas station off Wickersham Lane in Southeast Austin last Sunday.
The who I got answered, and a lot of the why is the part that's really, really difficult for me. And I think over time more will be revealed. But I think there is some peace in knowing who it was.
Crawford had an active warrant for his arrest for possession when the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force found him Thursday. He was then charged with first-degree murder.
I think even though it's so devastating and there's a lot of problems with the system, I'm grateful that we have answers and can start healing.
But she knows there's a long road ahead fighting for justice.
The detective said this to me, and I didn't realize it before that, but that this is truly just the beginning. It's going to be a long process. It's going to be a lot of pain throughout that, and so I think honestly just kind of dreading what's going to happen in the future, for a while.
For now, she's holding on to the fond memories she has of her son.
And I'm just grateful that, I got to spend 29 years with my son, and he, despite any struggles he had, he was an amazing human being.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
One man will now spend more than a decade behind bars after a jury convicted him of aggravated kidnapping and sexual assault. 43-year-old Maurice Madruga Mesa was accused of posing as a Lyft driver in Austin, then sexually assaulting a passenger in May of last year. He was arrested, charged in September. According to court documents, he admitted to using a friend's Lyft account, so he wasn't the person featured on the app. Paper license plates are no longer being issued by car dealers. New law is going to effect now that will streamline the process for metal license plates. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has that story.
These paper plates are no longer in Texas. They were being sold by bogus dealers by the thousands. Many use them to avoid vehicle inspections, toll roads, or to commit crimes.
Somebody can just create a fake paper plate, put it on a stolen car, and essentially that car is now hidden. We don't know. It's a ghost car now. We don't know what it is, which kind of complicates our investigations because, obviously it's got a paper plate. We don't know, other than the make, model, and color of that car, who it really belongs to.
And if the plates are run,
it may not come up, or if it does come up, it's going to come up to a different vehicle that doesn't belong to that car,
making it difficult to catch criminals. Now, because of legislation passed in 2023, car dealers will only issue metal plates. The Texas Department of Motor Vehicles has created 4 limited-use metal plates.
I think it's going to help in the fact that the paper plates aren't going to be able to be forged and counterfeit anymore, but we still might have a problem with, yes, we're going to have new hard plates, but those can be stolen as well.
To try to make sure that doesn't happen, Sergeant Minus suggests making it a little more difficult to steal.
We're all used to just the stock screws, just a normal Phillips head screw or a flathead screwdriver that put them on. Maybe go to purchase, I think you get on Amazon, just anti-theft screws where it's like a different type of shape that a criminal may not have.
For anyone who purchased a vehicle before July 1st, a 60-day grace period will be in place. After that time period, failure to comply could result in fines or penalties. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin CrimeWatch.
Well, for more on the stories featured in this episode, you can head to our website, fox7austin.com, and click on the CrimeWatch section at the top of the page. You can also watch on our Fox Local mobile and connected TV apps. They're free to download, and you can stream content on your phone as well as on multiple platforms like Roku and Apple TV. We appreciate you watching this edition of the Fox 7 Austin CrimeWatch digital exclusive, and don't forget to subscribe to the Fox 7 Austin YouTube channel.